All right, we're here to take another look at the lake data that I've gathered over the past 15 years. Hopefully you took a look at the last video where I talked more about the lures I've caught fish on, what seems to work the best. And today we're going to kind of show seasonal variation, I guess, in the lakes as best I can. And after that, we've ranked all the lakes that I've fished at least 5 times, and we'll see which one ends up the best out of 4 different categories. First thing first, let's look at this graph here where I've got weights of fish and kind of a distribution throughout the year of when I catch those fish. You can see not too unexpected. Springtime, mostly April, see a bit of a spike, and again in October, basically being about the 2 best months. I know it's a little bit skewed there at the very tips of it. January I caught a 5-pounder. It's kind of skewing that a little bit high, and December, I guess so. But for the most part, we'd expect. So if we look at this graph, kind of shows you the same thing, just broken up by lakes, not the total. It's just those lakes. You can kind of see which ones I fish, what time of year. So, and then here's individual lake plots. So, Austin Lake, kind of scattered around, but I catch some decent fish there just all year. One of the better lakes for kind of all year. Huzzy Lake, it's kind of similar. Lake X, definitely hit it in April all the time. March and April, catch a bunch of nice fish in March and April, and then don't fish it hardly at all apparently in the summer, and then go back a little bit in the fall and catch a few. Pawpaw Lake here, definitely again hit it real hard in April and October, November, but I've caught decent fish. Just you can see I kind of hit it throughout the year, but definitely hit it those times of year. So these graphs are a little bit more of what lakes I choose to fish when. Long Lake I fish usually all year, but October seems to be the month that I do the best there. September, October, I definitely catch a lot of nice fish there, a little bit higher than my springtime, but that's because I'm at Portage Lake most of the time in the spring. As you can see, all those trips there, catching some real nice fish, almost 6-pounders, and then don't fish it that much in the summertime. In the fall, when I fish it, I don't catch the big fish that I catch in the spring. So it's an interesting little plot of the lakes I fish the most. Now, let's talk about what lakes I think are the best. So I based this, kind of ranked them. So there's 20, like I said, 22 lakes that I fished and caught bass in five times or more. So the 4 categories I chose were how many bass I catch per trip. So, you know, if it's a lake I catch a whole bunch of bass at, ranked it by that, and then I ranked it by my average, the percent that are keepers of those fish. I ranked it by the percent that are 20 to 22 inch. Where's the big fish at? This one's a little bit tough because there is like a 6-way tie for the last place where I haven't caught any 22 inches or more. I gave them 1 spot down. They would have all been 17th place, and I put them all to 18th place just to give them a little bit of a penalty. So, you know, and then big bass. So I ranked big bass per lake, what the biggest bass is, and ranked ranked the lakes in order by that. So based on all that, Lake X, not surprisingly, became number 1. I got first place in keeper average, percent 20 to 22 inch, and big bass per lake, but 21 out of 22 on bass per trip. So, and then second place, Portage Lake. Worst thing was 11th place for 20 to 22 inches. But coming right after Portage is Pawpaw, and then Sherman Lake, St. Joe River, Long Lake, Kalamazoo. So that's the first 6. And that's probably how I would rank them as far as what I think are the best lakes in the area. The St. Joe River I'm a little bit surprised by because I've hit it at kind of weird times, but I've caught numbers of fish there. But I hit it a lot in the wintertime, December, January. So if we had to rank all those skunks when I'm going in December, January, February trying to fish St. Joe River, but luckily I didn't include any of those, so this one might be skewed. St. Joe River might be skewed a little bit high. I might put that one down a couple. After Long Lake, 7th place, Cedar Lake, tied Lake of the Woods for 7th place. And Cedar Lake I might move down a little bit. I struggle there for the most part. I don't know. But it just kind of fell in the middle, I guess, with everything. I have caught some nice fish there, and there's some good fish. Catch some numbers. So it's an okay lake, but I might move it down a little bit from 7th place, maybe more down 10, 11, 12, something like that. After Lake of the Woods, Wolf Lake, surprisingly. Bass per average is worst, 22nd place. I go there a lot, though. They're real short trips, and I just catch one fish maybe in the hour that I fish it. So that one's kind of tough to judge. It's got some nice fish, but it's small. It gets hit pretty hard. I have caught some nice fish. I caught a 5-pounder, 22-incher out of there, I think. So it's got some decent fish. Just I don't catch very many. Even if I have more time, I might catch 2 fish, 1 fish, kind of like Lake X. But it's got some good fish in it. So I might move Wolf Lake down a little bit further in the list, maybe 15th or something like that. Coming in at 9th place would be Eagle Lake Fort Custer, and that's about fair for that. I haven't caught a lot of big fish out of that lake, or any giants, I guess. But I catch some nice fish there, especially in the springtime. Next is Lake Cora, and that one falls in the middle. It's probably about right, 10th place. Catch a lot of little fish, catch a lot of numbers there, but there's got some good fish in it. Austin Lake right behind that, 11th place. Then Huzzy Lake, and I would probably leave those there. Barton Lake comes next at 13th place. Yeah, it's got some big fish in it. I've got some nice fish, but I just usually catch just a ton of dinks on jerkbaits in the summertime. But I've got some nice fish in the spring. They are in there, but they're hard to find sometimes. Three Lakes is next. I don't have a ton of trips from Three Lakes. I haven't skewed a little bit, but it's got some big fish. I mean, I've only fished it, like I said, 5 times, I think. So we'll leave that one there at 14th place, I guess. Bankson Lake, yeah, just a ton of little fish again, kind of like Barton. Ton of little fish, but it's got some big ones. It's got some big muskie in it, so you kind of get that extra thrill. And I just haven't landed very many of them out of that lake. Sunset Lake comes in at 16th, and I would maybe move them up just a little bit. I've caught some decent fish out of there. I just haven't caught anything real big yet. So, but not bad. Sugarloaf coming in at 17th place. Feels a touch high. I have caught very few decent fish out of there, but I did catch a nice 4-pounder, 4.5-pounder once. Caught some keepers, so I guess that one near the bottom at 17th place is all right. Hogsett, Gordneck Lake, 18th place. Yeah, I struggle on that lake sometimes finding any keepers, so I guess I would put that there. Eagle Lake, Kalamazoo, if you want to call it Kalamazoo, Matawan, Ashtamo area. Comes in at 19th place, but I would probably move it to the bottom. I haven't caught a keeper for this on my record. Taking a lot of trips, and it's the big thing about there is you catch a ton of fish. So if you want to take kids out there and just catch a bunch of fish, you should be able to go out there and just catch bass like all day long. But good luck catching any keepers. I have caught some. I've lost a few, and I've caught some that didn't get recorded. But for the most part, that lake's just full of little fish. Van Auken Lake, surprisingly, is down at 19th place, tied with Eagle Lake. But I would move that one up more to the middle, maybe 13th place, something like that. I've lost 2 really big fish there when I fished tournaments against Spencer and Greg, and I lost a big fish there last year with Greg. So it's got big fish potential. I haven't done great there. I've caught just medium and non-keepers, but that one I think will probably go up as I fish it more on this list. And then Little Pawpaw Lake comes in last. I would move it just ahead of Eagle Lake. I've caught a few decent fish out of Little Pawpaw Lake now, but that's another one where you can catch big numbers of just little fish. But Eagle Lake, it's 3rd place for number of fish per trip, and Little Pawpaw Lake is number 9. So that's why they're kind of flipped. But yeah, I would move that one up. It's got a little bit better potential, but I still don't do very good on Little Pawpaw Lake. So that's the list. 22 lakes. 1 through 20 basically ranked, a couple ties. And yeah, what do you think? Lake X, Portage, Pawpaw, Sherman, St. Joe River, Long Lake, Cedar, Lake of the Woods, Wolf? Which one did you move up or down? So next video, hopefully, I'm going to compare some of my data to, this is all the Kalamazoo Cal-Val Bass Club data, going all the way back to 2010. And I've already entered in most of this, but at least half of it I still got to try to enter in. So hopefully we'll get that done for the next video, and we can kind of compare how this ranking compares to what their ranking is. And I don't have as much data to use, but hopefully it'll be in the next video. See how our data stacks up against some tournament data. See which one's actually the best. But yeah, so that's it for this video. Thanks for watching. Click subscribe. Have a good day.